welcome to this afternoon's stream. Still have a few things that I am getting set up here, getting the Unity project set up. Now the goal of this one, this is a little bit of an experimental stream in which I am basically streaming my approach to prototyping. So the idea here is that I want to figure out how could I replicate the combat system in Atelier Ryza. Of course, not everyone's going to be familiar with that. And so I need to find a good little video clip that is going to show that. Because we need to know what we're looking at. Okay, I think this clip here will be pretty good. I also need to clear out, change some of my windows over here. All right, I do not want game capture because I'm not running that. I do want monitor capture. And I do not want the kitty cat, as cute as he is. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to turn my desktop volume back up. I'll have my desktop volume down and off because, yeah, I will be listening to music while doing this, and I don't want Twitch to yell at me. So, okay. So here, this is like from one of like the very first fights in the game, but it is basically how the combat system works, with maybe not quite as not minus some of the really fancy camera angle stuff that it does with special attacks. But I think just simply getting the basic combat system up and running first would be sufficient, and then worry about, okay, how do we handle special attacks? Actually, hold on. You know what? I changed my mind. That might not be the best video. Well, let's watch this one. So again, this is from the very early stages of the game. It is not a particularly complex system, but it is the most basic that the combat gets. Okay, so blur effect. Okay, so intro part. Let's look at that cable. Why this is going to cause a whole bunch of noise. Let me turn my mic off for a moment. Cable was in the way, and it makes all kinds of noise when you move the cable. All right, so let's go back. And actually, you know what? Let's turn the audio off on you. Audio off. Do I have a playback speed? Yes, I do. Oops. Speed slower. Okay. So we have a blur effect. Camera zooms out to get a picture of everyone. Oh yeah, I probably should turn my camera on. Webcam, you can go back on. There you go. Okay, so camera starts zoomed in, pulls back, does a quick pan around to show the entire party, and then blends over to this behind the view. Character attacks, zooms in on that character, but only on the character that I am controlling. So you can see the highlight here on Ryza. Actually, let's go ahead and pause it again. So I'm controlling Ryza. She's highlighted down here. AI is controlling the other two characters. Camera does not zoom in on them. They just go and do their own thing. So again, I think let's keep an eye on Lint here. He's the big warrior guy. So Ryza goes, then Tao's going to go. No camera work on him. Ryza goes in, and Lint just does his own thing. Camera's not concerned about keeping him in view. The only time the camera is worried about keeping things in view is when the character I'm controlling goes. All right, so that's going to be one of the major things. Probably Sign Machine is going to be what I need to do for that. I've not done a lot of work with cameras before in Unity, so that's going to be a major new thing. So I'm going to need to look that up. How do I handle camera work in Unity? Because that's a lot of camera work there. Other major portions, I've got the turn-based system going over here. Let's pull... Oops, no, not that far back. So this is the quasi sort of active battle system that they have here. I've got my characters and the enemy, circle and diamond. That way there's no confusion. Once a character's icon fits into this circle here, it looks like there is a scaling effect that goes on as the characters get down here. Looks like they are getting larger. So the character bubbles move down. Once they hit here, then it's my turn to act. The command buttons highlight over here, showing me what I can do. Which, of course, in this stage of the game, all I can do is attack. Or I guess I could technically move around on the battlefield to try to avoid area attacks, but not really necessary at this stage. Highlights. Again, I get a highlight whenever a character goes. A red highlight for the enemies. And of course, when the enemies reach here, their animation is played. And as I attack things, this goes up. And if I manage to fill this completely, then I get to increase the tactics level. And I have, let's see here, other UI elements. Numbers pop up and chain hits show up. Again, there's a lot going on here. So I think rather than doing the floating numbers, I'll just, because this is actual mechanics here, chain, keeping track of how many hits have I managed to do to the enemy before they hit me. So every time the enemy attacks, that resets the chain. And I honestly can't remember whether or not there's a mechanical benefit to the chain or not. So get the chain up, damage up, AP bar. Okay, yes, so there's a lot of things going on here, including the very complex camera work. Obviously, I'm not going to worry about like character animations. I'm just going to have cylinders and cubes and a plain background, not 3D. Because it's a prototype, right? I don't necessarily care that much about making it look pretty. I want to grab the functionality. There's a lot of little miscellaneous bits. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go for the low-hanging fruit first. This should be a fairly easy thing to do. So let's get GIMP running. Let's get that screen out of the way. Disable my desktop audio. And put on Powerwolf's new album, which again, yeah, I can't stream that one. Make sure that it's not coming across. Okay, good, it's not coming across. All right, so that circle icon, that should be a fairly easy one. Let's go for a 128. I should have made that transparent. Let's see here. Transparency at alpha. Colored alpha white. Okay, excellent. I need a circle. This is 128. So position 0 by 0. Size 128, 128. Okay, fill that with white. Shrink my selection by 5 pixels. Delete. That gives me my ring. Might be a little bit too thin, but again, prototype. Worry about details later. All right, so let's export that. Data drive. Where is Unity? Sort by name, if you don't mind. Thank you. Get to see all my project names. Ryza Combat Assets. AP ring, there we go. Let's hop over here. Actually, you know what? For the Unity side of things, yeah, no, I'll just leave it alone. Okay, so default sprite. You need to be a sprite. We'll leave everything else as defaults. Let's see, I do not want the sample scene. Sample scene is cursed. All right, so UI image. All right, let's see here, switch to 2D. Let's see here, not free aspect. Let's go 16:9. There you go. There-ish. Let's make the anchor point relative to that corner. Actually, you know what? Let's make the anchor point relative there. I think that's the smaller offset. Set the sprite. You will be a filled radial 360. I want to, let's do this from top. Yep, that's what we want. And I can even give it the same yellow tint. Because why not? There we go. In addition to that, fill. And I did black first. Yeah, I'm getting gosh darn aliasing. Let's do it this way then. New image. Get rid of that one. All right, layer, transparency, add alpha. Yeah, one of these days I'll actually remember to do it alpha from the start. There we go. Circle tool. Position 0, 0, 128, 128. And are you on repeat? No, you're not. Sorry, got distracted by my music. All right, so I've got that. Paint fill that in. Shrink my selection by 5. And I did it this way so that way I've got an off-color ring that I can see as it fills in, but I can still tint the center part here. So export this out. AP ring inner. All right. Export. Shush, I don't need your help. Nope, wrong order. I still want you there. All right, so UI, image, break the link, reverse it. Yep, that is. Yep, okay, that is exactly what I'm looking for. And then the last thing that I need is UI text. Let's switch back here. I want you to assume that. Center, if you don't mind. Hold on, I need to reposition my audio cable again. Why are you behaving like a putz? There, hopefully now it will behave itself. Okay. So AP. Let's take a look to see how that's looking. Yeah, I definitely need to position it better, but and can probably afford to move that font size up. Or better yet, because I do want this to look good. Let's see here. This is label AP. I'll have that just be the AP. We'll have you centered up top. And let's say 20. Let's duplicate you, and you will be TXT. Unity and its weird floating point errors. Okay. All right, good enough. Not going to mess with that anymore. Oh, other than probably pulling the whole thing. Thought I set your anchor point over here. Never hurts to go through and double check your anchor points to make sure they're not being dumb. There we go. That is better. Okay, that is done. Other visual elements that I need to have in place before we can start taking a look at code. I closed out my window. Okay. Because I want to, well, yeah, I guess that's as good as any of them. All right, where was that? It was about 24, I think. Okay, here we go. So I'm not going to bother with this, with the mode or any of that fancy stuff. I do need this. So a circle, a diamond, circle images to come down. I am not going to bother with the curve. That is a visual detail element that it's a nice visual detail element, but not particularly strong functional. If you can make it go down in a straight line, you can make it go down in a curve. So I'm not going to worry about that particular detail. So I'll just have player icons come straight down. This icon come straight down. I do need to figure out where the relative max is on this. Probably two different canvases. I'm going to guess, yes, here. So I need to have that. If I have this as a canvas, and then I should be able to position things relative to the canvas. Let's try that. Okay, that'll actually be a good first experiment point for code, because, yeah, getting this working is pretty basic. That I'm not worried about. This is a little bit more interesting. Okay, so I am going to need icons and this thing. Okay. Oh, I can just use this for icons as well. So let's just come over here. Let's actually get that background dealt with, because that really annoys me. I don't know what it is about this default skybox that just annoys me. When there's nothing else in the scene, that default skybox just annoys the heebie-jeebies out of me. And camera, let's just go ahead. You're clearing to solid color for the moment. Oh, no, I'll leave it on skybox, because I'll probably be putting skybox in at some point. This is an overlay, so I still want to stick with this. You know what? Let's just change this. Battle canvas. That is good. Let's... You know what? Scale? No, yeah, no. Okay. No, don't want to drag you in like that. Okay, so there is that. Let's create... Yeah, let's create a new canvas. This canvas is going to be just on this side. If we go for 15%, let's go, if we go for 15%, 0.15. And let's add an image on here just so we have visualization abilities. So I can't visualize. My students know this. Any random person coming by might not, or probably doesn't. Actually, it'd be scary if he did. Oh yeah, I can't visualize at all. I mean, I literally cannot visualize. It's called aphantasia. What does that look like? So that does make UI work a little bit more complicated for me. Yeah, okay, yeah, looks like 20%'s a good guess on that. All right, so we got 20% there. I will, for the moment, just leave that in there, but let's... for visualization purposes. All right, so background. This is the ATB canvas. Keep everything well named. And we'll just pretend that there's a there's an actual icon in there. All right, now this needs to be, I need to accommodate both. Oops. What I'm going to do on this, just to help me visualize, let's image player side. I do need a little bit of extra visualization help here. So you are going to be x-min of 0, 0, 1. There we go. Oops, yeah, no, I want you on top. There we go. So that way I can more easily see which side is which. All right, so player icon. So it's based off my center point. What I probably want to have here are empty game objects indicating max and player turn. Let's go ahead and do that. So what is this? I'm assuming that this is a 1920 screen. I want 15% of that, not times 0.15. So I'm going to make 288. Okay, so let's do a new image. This time remember to actually put in the fill with transparency. Okay, let's do another new, oh, I guess I can just rescale it. Okay, so image, scale image, break the link. All right, and I'm going to want not that big of a line. Let's choose a 10 pixel line. Let's see here. This is 128, so let's... doesn't matter that much here. 128, so 64-ish. There we go. There's a line. No, let's start the circle up here. Starting to feel like I'm spending a little bit too much time on images, so let's speed this up. There we go. And I'll just do squares instead of diamonds for the enemy. Okay. See our UI image. Toss another one in there. I want player icons to be on top of this, so that would have to be there. Image turn icon. Okay, so player, no, not player side, player icon. Make you a little bit larger. It's not going to match up perfectly, but good enough for a prototype. Because I definitely don't want to spend time on screen fooling with getting things looking pretty. All right, now for the monster icon, I will just create a square sprite. I guess I do have diamonds here, but oh. This will be monster icon. UI image. Even though it doesn't really mean, yeah, that doesn't really do much. I just want to have the image there just so that way when I do go, let's see here. Yeah, you're still quite a bit too large. You know what? Let's not use gray. There you go. That's better. Better by a certain definition of the word. Yeah, the visual aspects on this has a lot of work to do. All right, so I need to have this functionality here. They come down. They go, now they can go much higher. This battle doesn't show it because everything's got a fairly long term, but like the icons can go all the way up to here based on the weight of the attack. In other words, how much penalty do you get? All right, so let's see here. This is, oops, image monster icon. So then let's take a look at, okay, I want empty game objects here. So I'm going to create empty, break the link. Player turn spot. And then same thing here, create empty, monster turn spot. Now this is interesting. I've not done this before. Making UI elements move. Or do I want to do this? Oops, nope, wrong spot. Player turn spot. Break link. Image player icon is a child of turn spot. Monster icon is a child of monster turn spot. So then I can define this in terms of a position Y offset. Now that's dangerous because that is assuming yeah, that is. That is an interesting question. Because with the regular 2D camera, I know exactly where to position this or how to position it. But for here, that's actually an interesting question of how to handle multiple resolutions. Because I can cheat, and I can come in here and say, okay, this is 1920 by 1080 resolution. And I can tell my canvas that you will scale with screen size and your reference is a 1920 by 1080. Which of course does immediately mess up a few things. So I mean, I can do that. I just found a hole in my UI knowledge. It's like, so, because I know I'm not doing a particularly good job of explaining what is confusing me. I am trying to figure out what is the most flexible method for defining the idea of something can start anywhere between, goes from here to say right about here. So this is monster's turn. This is like the maximum possible relative weight that you could have. Like getting moved all the way up here means that you're going to take seconds, maybe even 10 seconds before you get all the way back down here. So I need game elements to be able to pop up to here, move down, and hit here. Which I'm actually beginning to think that maybe the canvas system isn't the best system for this. Canvas system is the best for this icon right here. Because that gives me my where is it? Yeah, because this gives me my fill. This whole image property thing here makes it just a lot easier. So that's pretty easy. Having things move around, it's like, there should be an easy way of doing that, but I'm actually just kind of, I've not actually ever messed with having UI elements animate, so I'm not really sure what the best approach here is. What would be the best approach? Because I mean, I can always, for a prototype, brute forcing to an extent is okay. But I want this to actually be flexible enough that it can survive not just totally shattering if it's played in something other than 1920 by 1080. Like if I wanted to bring this over onto a tablet, I'd want it to survive. So let's just disable that for the moment. Oops, no. All right, go back to scene view. Let's go back to my... Well, no, this is a perspective camera. This is a 3D game. At some point I have 3D models, so I can't use an orthographic camera. Huh. Okay, Unity documentation time. Rect transform Unity, scripting API. So I have anchored position 3D, anchor max, anchor min, offset, pivot, the actual rectangle. Position of the pivot of this rect transform relative to the anchor reference point. So it's an anchored So let's write a small little bit of code here. Are you opening Visual Studio? There we go. This is the part that I mean, my face is a bit scowly at the moment. But this is legitimately the part about game development that I really enjoy. It's just like hitting these problems of going, oh, I don't know how to do that. And then trying to figure out, well, how do I do that? Yeah, so I might be a little scowly face at the moment, but that's because I'm having fun? Question mark? Yeah, I'm having fun. Okay. So actually, let's just save this scene. Let's get a new scene. Get rid of that background. Okay, and I'm going to create a UI image. I am going to set. Oop. Ah. The anchor point there. And let's duplicate that. And my Y, 0.8 and 0.8. There we go. Okay. So let's change your tint so we can actually see the difference. So what I want to have happen is if this will fall down, position Y. Okay, so let's get, so the first thing I need to have here, it's a rect transform. Rect transform is in the core module. Inherits from transform. Oh, okay, there we go. Rect transform. Bottom. Public. Rect transform. Top. And a rect transform current. It'll be there. Okay, so current dot position is a vector 3. I don't think it's anchored. Position of this pivot relative to the anchor reference point. That's probably the one that I want. So we'll say vector 3 new position equals current dot, oh, vector 2. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, move speed. See here, public float move speed equals 10. I have no idea what that should actually be. So, all right. Sorry if I suddenly started talking quiet there. It's usually when I'm talking to myself when working, I will usually go quiet. Let me get, just in case I get someone chatting, make sure I have my chat up. Which I'm all alone. Oh no. Okay. Okay, so new position dot y minus equals move speed times time dot delta time, yield standard stuff. Well, no, its anchored position is, okay, yeah, so that's what I'm manipulating. I don't actually need the bottom reference. So let's get rid of that. I just need the top. So I will say if new position dot y is less than or equal to 0, because again, floating point, the odds of it actually being 0 is about 0. Then I need to make its actual position equal to transform.top's position. So new position equals top dot that's a vector 3 though. Vector 3 temp equals, oh no, I'm way overcomplicating this. So let's see here. Float top x, float top y, and then in start I will say top x. I mean, which that shouldn't, it should actually just be top y. That's all I need. Top y is equal to top dot, oh no, but it's got to be anchor position. If I make, is it a child? This is top. Can't. Let's bottom. That doesn't make any sense. Well, let's flip this then. Instead, what I will do, I think, yes, I will need this. So top dot position dot y. Okay. Okay. So what I will check here. What I'll do is I'll have that check first. Oops, didn't grab the eye. So right off the bat, I'll ask, okay, is my current anchored position equal to that? And let's get rid of that. And let's say, okay, so I will say vector 3, new position. Equals current dot position. And I also need to current equals get component. Do that. So if my anchored position is less than or equal to y, then I want to jump back up to the top. So I will say my new position dot y is equal to top y. Else, I will say my new position dot y minus equals move speed times time dot delta time, and then current dot position equals new position. See what happens. Oh, that is slow. Okay, no. Move speed 100, and just in case I need to adjust that again. Let's not have maximize on play. There we go. It goes down. Well, it might. Woo! All right. So that's how I can do it. A combination of using the absolute positioning and checking against the anchor point of my source. And then if I want to actually, see here, make sure things render correctly, do that. And then I could also have, see here, bool do move equals true. And I can have public float start pause equals 1, and a float pause time equals 0. And down here, I can say if, or I call it do move. Okay, so if do move, I will do all of this nonsense. Else, I will, okay, pause time minus equals time dot delta time. If pause time is less than or equal to 0, do move equals true. And if I jump, I will say pause time is equal to start pause. Do move equals false. And that should give me the pause effect. Why am I getting a null reference exception? I mean, this looks like everything's working just fine. Line 29. Oh, hold on. Do I? Yeah, okay. When I duplicated it, I duplicated the script. I'm like, hold up. That's not possible. Otherwise, nothing would be working. There we go. Yep, okay. So that little exploratory script worked out pretty good. And that's another, important point to keep in mind. That's like, there's too much clutter in the other scenes. So it's like, okay, you know what? Let's just narrow this down to the absolute minimal things. Know where my stop point is, where my reset point is, and have the block move back and forth. Because now, with this knowledge, I can go back to the other scene No, I do not need to save you. Okay. Yeah, ATB canvas is a bit of a mess right now. So let's go into the scene and player turn spot. Okay, you need to be. Sure, there's a easier way of. Adjusting that. That is close enough. There's got to be a better way of doing that. So that will be a nightmare trying to actually position. Okay. Now I'm going to have to make some modifications because this is not a perfect duplicate here. So here's my player. Let's add anchor slide onto here. Okay. I do need, as part of this, an empty game object. Yep, there's definitely got to be a better way of setting these anchor points, but I will look into that later. This will be player max weight. let's just make sure you got. Actually, I should just be able to copy that X component and use it for this X component. Oops. Yeah, I'll worry about, the visual screw up on that later. Okay, so I've got the player max weight. So for the player, let's break that link. I don't think I need that. So for the player icon, I need player max weight. I do need the bottom. And well, no. I don't think. Let's go back here. Now the player icon needs to have the same anchors here. So copy, paste, and paste. And same thing for the Y. Copy, paste, paste. Okay. So technically, I don't even need this game object. Let's get rid of it. Move speed should be set to 150. Almost. Let's toss in one little extra bit here. Is player controlled? Okay. So I want to wait. Let's see here. Bool is waiting equals false. If do move and not waiting. So only if I'm supposed to be moving. Else, okay. All right. Okay. So else if not is waiting. So what should happen, you know what, I'll just break it. So if I've done my logic correct, which I might not be, kind of doing by the seats of your pants programming here, should just freeze down there. Yep, okay, so it just froze. That's what I wanted. And if that is not checked, nothing should happen. I mean, nothing should change. It should cycle as usual. Yep, okay. Always important when doing stuff like this, do as few changes as you can before making sure that your changes have not broken something. All right, so else if I am waiting, there's a temporary thing here. I'll look, get key down. Key code. Space. And actually, I want to do all of these things as well. Because I'm just waiting for the command to be entered. And once a command is entered, then things can resume, and they resume as usual. Oh, well, nope. Bad logic. Okay. I actually don't want to do any of that until the command, because I want the image to stay down there. Compiler, did I miss? That needs to be taken out of there. Got to watch out for that scope. And it's not going to do anything until... Okay. So I should be in here. And he is waiting. I should be checking for key code. Okay, set waiting to false. Set do move to false. All right, well... Attach to Unity. Got a logic bug in there someplace. And all right, so that is falling in. So I am setting is waiting to false. Are you gonna give me mouse? Usually gives me mouse overs. That's weird. Something's not allowing his waiting to be set to false. There's only one spot that I'm doing that here, and that's right here. Oh. Oh, no. Hold on. Because... Okay. I see it. I'm updating new position, but I'm not writing new position back into current position. So what was happening is I was still at the freeze point, and so it was just constantly looping back in. Okay. I do like that hot reload ability that Unity has. There we go. Now it's working exactly as expected. And if I turn off is player controlled, and then it should resume normal behavior. Excellent. Now the question becomes, got about 20 minutes left before I call it a stream. That'll be 2 hours of watching me ramble and fumble at this. That's more patience than I can ask of anyone, to be honest. But in 20 minutes, I think... So the other thing is the relativeness. So instead of always going back to here, it's like, okay, so I've got... percentage of y. Public float weight. So, whenever I move here, I'll scale this as... This code needs so much refactoring. So it should only go halfway now? Oh, whoops. I don't... That doesn't seem correct. think I need to redo the logic. So instead of just moving it straight to top Y, I need a Y offset. So float offset Y. And that is going to be, offset Y is going to be equal to, oops, nope, I need to do this after I grab current. Offset Y, actually let's call this offset Y max. Offset Y max is equal to top dot position dot Y minus current dot position dot Y. And if I just simply add offset Y to anchored let's check my documentation. Position. No, that's not. I need the scripting. Okay, so if I move it to anchored position 0, so I would take whatever my current anchored position value is, and add that into the Y. That would move it to 0. Then, relatively speaking, then that would make the anchor position Y. Then if I add the offset, then it should work. Okay, so just modify the AI version first. So I will say new position dot Y plus equals current dot anchored position dot Y. That moves it to 0. Then, instead of that line, new position dot Y plus equals offset Y max times weight. And that should work. And I need to make sure now that, and let's I guess I'm not going to be able to see the gizmos. Let's turn that off. Let's see here. I don't think I actually fixed it. Okay, so image player icon. You are not player controlled, and you have a weight of 1. Thank you very much. You are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Let's see debug info. $593 is what's being calculated. But top Y is 1,009. It's anchored position up, and 1 moment.
Call from 191.
And life finds a way to intrude. That is my son wanting to be picked up earlier than what he was supposed to be calling me, but I suppose that is life. So I guess in the next experimental prototyping video, I'll try to figure out where my logic flaw is in implementing this weight system where I can go to any percentage of this line. Oops, and you can't see me gesturing with the mouse because I put the cat on. There we go. So yeah, the next time, take a look at where my logic flaw is in adjusting this. So leave a comment on the video if you found this useful. I'll most likely be exporting this out to a YouTube video and posting it on my YouTube channel as well, which is a bit easier to make comments there. And of course, if you are one of my students and have access to the Discord channel, leave a comment there as to how useful you thought this particular video was. And so with that, until next time, I'll see you guys later.